Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Fifth Quarter Podcast. I am your host, Devin, as always, joined by my co-host, Jaden, as we are back with yet again another top 10 ranking. And this week is very fitting for edge rushers. Believe me, we're going to get into a bunch of news with that. A lot of trades going on, a lot of free agency news. We're nearing the draft in next month, I should say. So we're gearing up for this off season, but you guys know how these videos start out with pregame talk with my main man, Jaden. Before we get into that, if you're new here, make sure to leave a subscribe. Make sure to leave a like. Also, I leave the Spotify links down below. Make sure you go click over there. Rate us 5 stars. What do we got for pregame today?
All right, so today I got for you a keep 4, cut 4 quarterback, wide receiver, running back trios of the 2010s.
Okay, I'm always a fan of these. Let's see what we got.
Now, believe me, I will say it got kind of tough to find a trio that's on the level as other ones. And so I'm just gonna throw them all in there. I'm obviously not gonna go with the best first. It's gonna be thrown all around. So this might not be too hard to do, but we'll see.
All right, let's see.
First one we got Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, and Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, this is a pretty big hitter out the gate. I think this is going to be and you said this is of just since 2000? Or
of the 2010s.
2010.
So from 2010 to 2019.
Yeah, this feels like an easy keep. I mean, Michael Thomas was an offensive player of the year. Alvin Kamara, offensive rookie of the year, a guy that was 800 every single year of his career. It felt like Drew Brees, one of the best quarterbacks ever. Yeah, this feels I won't overthink, go on too long. This feels like an easy keep for me.
All right. Next, I got Tom Brady, Julian Edelman, and LeGarrette Blount.
I want to say it's another easy keep. Solely off the back of Brady. And I mean, LeGarrette Blount, I want to say was really only there for like a season.
Yeah,
maybe
like two seasons.
Yeah,
he was honestly the best running back of those trios. I think he's the best running back of those trios from the 2010s. Like there was a couple other guys I could have thrown in there, Dion Lewis and those guys. There's another name I'm forgetting, but I think he was the best running back of those.
Yeah, and I mean that's fair. I mean I think he had like a 17 touchdown season.
Yeah, 18
in
I
his
believe.
year there. Yeah, so man, I'm trying to think of anything that I get it. Edelman and Blount are not the craziest names, but I mean, you got the GOAT along with them. You give me like 2018, that Chiefs team. I'm probably taking that. Maybe a Rams trio with Gurley and Goff when they went off that year. I mean, you got some good ones. I'm just gonna keep it. I mean, it's Tom Brady. I can't be faulted for keeping Brady. So I'll keep that one.
All right. Next, we got Tony Romo, Des Bryant, and DeMarco Murray.
DeMarco Murray. I mean, I haven't heard a bad one yet. Would I take this trio over the last one? It's tough because this trio overall, as far as skill positions, I mean, absolutely shit on the Patriots, but obviously Brady carries so hard. Man, this is tough.
That's what you value.
This is tough.
Are you valuing in what these trios did?
What they did?
Or are you going to value in just how good they were as, just in their own,
I think I would probably value talent more, but I am factoring in both. Like when you immediately said the Saints trio, I immediately went to like that team had some pretty good playoff runs. Obviously they never made the Super Bowl, but they as a trio that they probably won, 3 to 4 playoff games in their time. And obviously this Dallas one didn't have as much success as those other two. But I mean, Romo, Dez, and Murray. I mean, Murray I think he was nearly a Triple Crown rusher. Des Bryant, a guy that's a lock for a double-digit touchdown season. Man, I'm gonna have to cut a lot of trios. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I'm gonna. Am I gonna cut this? if I kept Brady and that trio, I got to keep this trio. It's just
Man,
overall
3
talent
keeps to
better.
start.
Yeah, I think I might have made a mistake with the Patriots one. I might have valued Brady too much, but I don't know. We'll see.
Next, you knew this was coming. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and Devontae Freeman.
I think I'm going to hurt your feelings here because I've just kept the first 3. This would, like, if you would have said this third, I'd probably keep it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to keep the door open because I just don't know what is coming. And there's trios during the 2010s that I absolutely would take over it. So I have to leave that door. I'm going to have to cut them. I mean, at the end of the day, Devontae Freeman, had, I think, one really, really solid year. But that's, I mean, obviously, if you're factoring in that year, then we start talking. I think maybe I'm getting him mixed up. I think he was like fantasy RB1 for 1 year, unless I'm getting him mixed up with another player.
He led the league in touchdowns and was like a big threat in the receiving game in 2016 or 15.
Specifically, that year for this trio is pretty
2015. He had 73 receptions, 11 rushing touchdowns, 3 receiving touchdowns.
This
all
feels
pro second team.
This feels bad, but I have to cut. I kept too many. I made a mistake with the Patriots, but I got to cut them. I'm sorry.
Next, I got Michael Vick, Deshaun Jackson, and LaShawn McCoy of the 2010 Eagles.
This one is also going to be a cut for me. Michael Vick during that year, that's like, I think statistically, maybe his best year of his career with the Eagles. LaShawn McCoy, I don't know if LaShawn McCoy was really in his prime.
He was.
With Vick. Was he?
Yeah. Because
I
can look up the numbers.
When was Vick's last? I thought Vick's last year in Philly.
2010 was...
Vick's best year.
Or 2010 was Vick's best year, but he also played in 2011, which was McCoy's second best year. He had 17 rushing touchdowns, 1,300 yards, 4.8 per carry. I wouldn't say it's his best year. His best year was 2013. He had 1,600 yards, 9 touchdowns, but, I mean, he's still really good running back. And in Vick's best year, he had 10,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. In the second season, 5.2 per carry. So I wouldn't say he was at his peak yet, but, I mean, he was not far from it. Only a couple years off. And then Deshaun, probably best years of Deshaun.
This again, it's just unfortunately got to be a cut. I kept too many out the gate, as I keep saying. I wish I had that Patriots one back. I'm gonna keep on thinking about it, but I think these 2, I don't feel so bad about keeping the other 3 over them. Like, maybe I'd prefer, just off pure talent, the Falcons trio over the Patriots. But yeah, I guess we'll keep seeing how this list unfolds. But I gotta cut the Eagles.
All right. Next, we got Jared Goff, Robert Woods, and Todd Gurley.
Yeah, this was a trio that I talked about. So I got one more after this, or 2 more?
There is 2 more after this.
2 more. And I have 3 keeps, 2 cuts.
Yeah.
How many more trios off the top of my head? Like I mentioned, that Chiefs trio, I would easily take over it. Man, I'm trying to think of any other ones off the top of my head. I mean, the Broncos trio, I would probably take over it. I mean, realistically, you could throw out that Texans trio, and I know Matt Schaub is not that guy, but Andre Johnson and Arian Foster are like only the 3rd running back receiver duo, I think, ever to have like 1,500 yards each in a season. Man, that's tough. I'm gonna take a risk and pray to God you don't have the Chiefs trio, and I'm gonna keep this Rams trio just because I mentioned it in the beginning, And I think during their time, they were really good. I mean, Gurley was an offensive player of the year. Goff had like a 28, 29 touchdown season that 2017 year. They were the best offense in the league. I'm going to take a risk, and I'm going to keep it. So my final two are getting cut.
Your 4 keeps. And I'm going to make you feel better. I did not have the Chiefs trio on this list.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better, but I still feel like there's at least one of these last.
And what really held them back because they really didn't have like a running back, really. Like they had that Kareem Hunt, but Kareem Hunt, I believe, halfway through that season, that's when he got into the legal trouble, or did he get hurt that season?
It was
Mahomes was on.
It was 20.
He got hurt. 2017 was his best year, the year where he led the league in rushing, but obviously that wasn't Mahomes' year.
Right, that was
Mahomes was a rookie and he didn't play that year. And in the second year he played, or Mahomes, the 2018 year, the electric year, he played 11 games. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure he got injured, right? And then after that he had the legal troubles and he never really came back to the Chiefs, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, if I'm remembering correctly.
That sounds correct. And that's so weird to me. Man, it really feels like Kareem's rookie year was Mahomes' second year. Like that just feels like they matched together, but they didn't. That's weird. Yeah. But okay. So what are the two that I'm cutting?
We got one that I just had to throw in here. Got Ryan Tannehill, Jarvis Landry, and Jay Ajayi. Good trio.
Yeah, not the worst.
I think he's definitely. I think it is the worst of all these trios, though.
Yeah, I feel fine.
But no, definitely a very good trio. Like not throwing any shade on that.
Underrated.
But just feels wrong putting them in the same conversation as some of these. But your last cut. So your 4 keeps: Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Tony Romo, Dez Bryant, DeMarco Murray, Tom Brady, Julian Edelman, LeGarrette Blount, and Jared Goff, Robert Woods, Todd Gurley. Your 3 cuts: Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Devontae Freeman, Michael Vick, Deshaun Jackson, LaShawn McCoy, Ryan Tannehill, Jarvis Landry, Jay Ajayi, and Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell.
Oh, yep, there it is. I didn't even think about them. They didn't even cross my mind when trying to think about trios. Yeah, that hurts. I think if I replace them with that Patriots trio, I think it's a perfect list. I think realistically, there's like 5 to 6 really good trios on here that you could argue could all make it. Yeah. But damn, that hurts. That trio, obviously. I mean, talent wise, you could argue is the best of the 2010s. Damn, that hurts. That's a bad one. I gotta start saving that. I think we've done this like 3 times before. Yeah, we've done keeper cuts so many times, and I just always leave my last ones for cuts, and it's the detriment of me. I gotta stop doing that. That would have worked out so perfectly. I knew I should have went with my gut and cut the Patriots, but I just factored in Brady too much, which is not a bad thing. But
they're the only trio on this list that won a ring. Say that.
Yeah, that is fair. I got that for me, I guess. But that was a ton of fun to start out this episode. Let's just jump right into it. We have a lot of trade news to talk about before we get into our top 10 edge rushers, and we're just gonna start off with the big one. Obviously, this is monumental to this podcast, considering the shields that are behind me. The Raiders are trading 5-time Pro Bowl defensive end Max Crosby to the Baltimore Ravens in exchange for a 2026 and 2027 first-round pick. The 2026 pick obviously being number 14 in this draft, and 2027 yet to come. I want to start this off first by talking about Max Crosby, just personally for me, disregarding the trade news and the value and this and that. I just want to talk about Max Crosby. Max Crosby has been with the Raiders over the past 7 years, one of the best players in football, period, really since I would say around 2021-ish when he really broke onto the scene. And I can pretty confidently say, I mean, unless the Raiders go out there and draft a quarterback on the level of a Mahomes, Lamar, Allen type of thing, I don't think I will ever enjoy watching a player play for the Raiders as much as I did with Max Crosby. I mean, it's a guy that literally does not come off the field, and it's just people can't say that they watched that. It almost felt like I took it for granted when I realized that every single time I'm watching the Raiders defense play, number 98 is lined up out there. I don't have to worry about a 3 to 4 play stretch where he's getting a breather. This guy is playing every single snap and giving it 100% every single snap. I mean, a guy that truly didn't get the recognition that I believe he deserves because he played for such a bad Raiders team. And obviously, we're still going to talk about Max later on in this episode once we get to our edge rushers. But I think if this guy had a bigger spotlight on him, I truly think people would understand the type of player he is. I mean, once we start actually getting into the news of this trade, people believe that this was an overpay. I thought that it was perfectly fine. I didn't think Max would go for anything less than 2 first-round picks. I mean, I think comfortably this guy is a top 5 defensive player, like without question, in my opinion. And then once you start talking about just pure players in the NFL, I mean, it's not crazy to say he's top 10, top 15 if you want to push it that far back. The guy is a Hall of Fame talent level player, and the Ravens got them an absolute dog. So with that out the way, we'll talk about the actual trade part. And I'll give my initial grades from both sides. I really do think both sides won. I think some people talk about a fleece from each side. I think the Raiders are obviously in a full rebuild, and we need as much draft picks as we can get. And the Ravens are obviously in win now mode. They have, a quarterback talent of Lamar Jackson that is one of the greatest we've ever seen, just as far as a pure talent perspective. And you want to capitalize on that window. And no matter who they drafted over these next 2 years in the first round, they were most likely not going to be close to the caliber player that Max Crosby is. And you have to take advantage of that. You're able to bring in a guy on a defense alongside Kyle Hamilton with your new head coach hire and Jesse Minter, and he's going to get those guys going. The Ravens defense, I'm not going to say it's not going to be near that 2023 defense, because Mike McDonald is just, that crazy of a defensive mind. But they're going to have a chance to be really good. This is easily a defense that I could see being the best in the NFL next year, and it wouldn't surprise me. So as far as the Ravens, again, they're taking advantage of the opportunity with Lamar back there. You got to capitalize on it. You got to go out there and get the most help that you can, and bringing in a guy like Max doesn't hurt your chances at all. And like I said, for the Raiders, you have 4 first-round picks over the next 2 years. I mean, in this year's draft alone, you have 4, I believe it's top 67 picks in the draft. Out of the top 67 picks, you have 4 of those. That's huge for a team that's rebuilding and has a lot of positions that need to be filled. So it hurts. It hurts bad. It hurts bad to see 98 go, but I'm always rooting for him. I'm really hoping he goes out there and wins a ring. I mean, Lamar Jackson is my favorite player in NFL history. I mean, I got his cards right behind me, so I'm definitely rooting the Ravens on this year. If you're new here, you don't know, but if you're a reoccurring listener, I've always been a huge fan of the Ravens since Lamar got there, and this definitely is gonna boost my fandom with them. So once the Raiders are eliminated from the playoffs by week 1, I'm gonna be rooting on the Ravens to go win it all. Do you want to give our initial grades? Like I said, I think this is a win-win for both sides. Are you in that same vein? I'd probably go A minus, A plus, A minus Ravens, A plus Raiders. I don't know how you are taking it. Do you agree with that, or which side are you on?
I think it's a pretty even trade for both teams. I'll probably give it the same grade. Get AA.
Yeah.
Right in the middle.
That's fair. Now, staying on this, I've seen this topic be thrown around. Do the Ravens have the best top 3 in the league right now with Lamar, Kyle Hamilton, and Crosby? I think they have to.
I mean, I have to look. That's just top 3 on both sides of the ball. I mean, I have to really look at all the teams up and down to see.
I mean, off the top of your head, if you're just ranking players in the NFL,
let me just look at let me pull up NFL teams. Just look at logos so I can start getting some circulating through my brain.
Because I really don't think, I don't even know if it's a question in my opinion. I mean, I'm trying to think about any other teams
with
that
as many
have
superstars.
It's just at the end of the day a top 3 that can beat this. I mean, you just talk about players in the NFL in general, not offense or defense. I think the Ravens have 3. I think the Ravens have 3 top 15 players in the league. Like
Bills,
disregarding
no.
Side of the ball.
Dolphins, no. Patriots, no. Jets, maybe. Ravens, we got. Bengals, no. No, Bengals,
no.
Browns, no. Steelers, no. Texans, no. Colts, no. Jags, no. Titans, no. Broncos,
I'm telling you.
No.
You're not going to be able to find one.
I don't know. Broncos might be up there.
Top, man, please stop.
I don't know. I mean, are we including offensive linemen? I think
just top 3. Top 3.
Have a say then.
Top 3 players.
Chiefs.
What would you say? What would you say the Broncos' top 3 players are?
Garrett Bowles, Quinn Miners, Pat Surtain. That's pretty good too.
You think that's on par with Lamar, Crosby, Hamilton?
I think it's something you could think about. Because if you look like retrospect to their position, Garrett Bowles. I
think it's just period ranking across the league. Like I think if you're looking at the top 100 players in the league, I think the Ravens have 3 top 15 players.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my opinion. And I've seen people talking about it. People were saying like extending it to top 4. And I was like, they were throwing in Roquan. And I'm like, Roquan's just simply not the player that he once was. I mean, maybe he's able to have a little bit of a resurrection with Minter now. But I'm just looking at purely top 3. And I don't even think it's close. Like, I mean, maybe like the Rams, you could say, are up there. But again, they're not on par with them. The Seahawks could be up there. But again, they're not on par with them. The Niners, like... there's teams that are close that are a tier 2, but I think they are by far and away the best 3 man in the league right now, like by far
probably.
So
I don't know. Ravens it's just like the Jets. I'm looking at the Jets and it's like, dude,
that's fair.
Guys over there.
That's fair. I mean, even you look at the Falcons. You talk about James.
I was just
Pierce,
trying to make it
Michael
fair.
Penix
I
Jr.
didn't bring up the Falcons. I wanted the Ravens to have a chance. So we'll just, for the sake of the podcast, we'll just say but
yeah. The Ravens are gonna be scary next year. I think it's definitely got to be their year that they feel like they can go win it all, and
they have to.
I'm hoping that they're not done yet.
Oh no, I'm tripping.
What was
Nothing.
that?
Continue going. I don't know. I was just about to say like they have to they have to get some weapons, like maybe in the draft. I was going to mention their first round pick, but I just forgot they just traded it. So they got to get Lamar
they can
help
still
on the receiving end.
They can still attack the draft pretty comfortably. They've been a team that has overall drafted well in the later rounds. They've had a couple of first round misses during the Lamar era, but they've been a team that has overall always been a pretty good drafting team. But yeah, a win-win from both sides, a massive blockbuster trade in the NFL, and we certainly are not stopping there. We're going to move on to our next pretty blockbuster trade in the NFL. The Chiefs and Rams have agreed on a trade for All-Pro corner Trent McDuffie. The full trade is the Rams are receiving cornerback Trent McDuffie, and the Chiefs will receive this year's first-round pick, number 29, a fifth-round pick, and a sixth-round pick this year, and also a third-round pick next year. This is a trade for the Rams that obviously shows that they are fully going all in for what seems to be Matthew Stafford's last year, and a team that desperately needed cornerback help, get an all-pro talent out there. And the Rams still have a first-round pick. They still have number 13, where they most likely will double-dip the chip on corners and probably go with one of the top corners in the class. Now, I can't tell if this feels like a lot or it feels fair. A first, a fifth, a sixth, and a third. Does that feel like a lot for McDuffie, or am I someone undervaluing him? Because I understand he's a guy that plays all over the field as a corner. He can play in the nickel. He can play on the boundary. He can move all around. He's a very dynamic player. But I don't know, that does feel like a hefty price for a guy like that. Am I tripping?
It is a bit much, but I think McDuffie is still a good player. I don't know if they'll get that value back on it, but I think it's a pretty good win now type of move. Yeah, we've seen them do this before in a win now type move. When 2021, when they absolutely stacked the
Rams there.
Yeah. I mean, we could see it pay off again. I think like you said, McDuffie, I think he's really good. I think he's best in the slot as a nickel, but I mean, he can line up all around the field. And I think they will, and they should, like you said, double dip in the draft, get another corner, one of the top corners, whether that's, Jermod McCoy, if they like Avion Terrell. Colton Hood is also really good. There's going to be a lot of corners available. Yeah, Mansour Delane, if he drops, I've seen him mocked. Being the first corner off the board, and might not be there at 13, but if he is there, wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, that's fair. It is a lot. I mean, it's essentially, not really, because you're missing, second, fourth, whatever. But I mean, it's almost like a complete, draft haul for a team. A first, a third, a fifth, and a sixth. It's like there's teams this year that only have a first, third, fifth, and sixth, and it went all for McDuffie. And it's a win now. You got to go for it. I mean, you were that close to winning it this year, as a lot of people expected. That Rams-Seahawks game was truly the Super Bowl, and if the Rams were able to squeeze that one out, I would say almost 100% would have went on to win it all. So this moves them that much closer, and they're going to be able to still improve in the draft. I think the Rams are up there. It's going to be interesting to see if the Seahawks can make that same noise as they did this past year. But, man, the Rams are going to come back, just fully loaded. And I'm interested to see how that NFC is going to shape up. Man, a Rams-Ravens Super Bowl would be so much fun. So much fun. I think overall grades, I'd go A for the Chiefs flat out A, and for the Rams, I'll go B plus. I'll go B plus. Where would your head go?
I'll swap those little seconds. I'll go A plus for the Chiefs and B for the Rams.
Okay. A little higher on the Chiefs, a little lower on the Rams.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Because, I mean, what do they really – I mean, yeah, sure, they lost Trent McDuffie, but, he's on the final year of his deal. He's going to be demanding that top corner money, $30 million a year or whatever, but I don't know if he's necessarily worth that, but
That's
I think
fair.
And they got an absolute haul back. The team that drafts the best in the league is just got more draft picks.
Yeah. That's a really good point. I didn't even mention about the contract issues, which, the Chiefs are definitely obviously managing that with, Mahomes and going forward with this team.
And they did the same thing before,
really
too,
that.
with, L'Jarius Sneed.
L'Jarius Sneed.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
And it worked out well.
Really good point.
They drafted McDuffie and replaced him, and, why not go out this year, draft Colton Hood late in the first, replace him with that, There's going to be corners available. So,
yeah.
Yep.
And the Chiefs are going to have 2 first-round picks. They're going to have their high
right.
draft pick,
I forgot
which
about
I think
theirs,
is 9.
too. I don't know. In my head, I'm factoring in their pick, too, but I'm like, I forget. What is it, like 9 or some shit?
Yeah, it's 9.
It's
they're going to have 9 and 29. So
damn. Shit, they might
they're gonna
get Mansour Dwayne or
they're gonna be able to stack the deck. Like I mentioned, I don't know.
I mean,
if
they're a
Mahomes
team
back,
that really
but
might go like best. I mean, this is not a draft episode, but shit, they really might go best player available. They fuck around and walk out with the Caleb Downs or Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, and I think they
crazy.
should. I think they should attack the draft like that. I mean, just get. Stack the deck while you can. With Mahomes being out, you're not going to be picking this high again during the Mahomes era unless, another freak injury happens. So, take all advantage of it. 2 top 29 picks for the Chiefs. Unreal. After going to 3 straight Super Bowls not too long ago. The last trade that we will be talking about is, I want to say, obviously it's the smallest of these, but honestly, it's a pretty big trade when you look at the return. Not Zaire, unfortunately. The Bills are trading for DJ Moore from the Bears. The Bills are receiving DJ Moore and a 5th-round pick, and the Bears are receiving a 2nd-round pick. That's a lot for DJ Moore. And it's just a 2nd-round pick. It's not like I didn't talk about 4 picks or 5 picks or whatever it may be, a 1st-round pick. A 2nd-round pick for DJ Moore is a lot. And I think the Bills have really done a poor job at attacking the wide receiver room outside of the Stephon Diggs era. I mean, it's just like, it's really, we haven't seen this, right? We haven't seen this product. DJ Moore can come in and be right back to his Carolina days. And I know people are going to look at the big moments that happened with the Bears, and they might look at just pure counting stats. I mean, this goes bigger than that. The Bills have the 2nd most expensive wide receiver room in the NFL now. DJ Moore is on a 4-year contract. Worth 24.5 this year, 23 guaranteed. Then it's flat out 24.5 the next 3 years after this. That's a lot of money for a guy like that, and you traded a 2nd-round pick for him. I don't know. This feels like a really massive overpay, and I understand it from the standpoint that you want to get Josh Allen the most help you can. You feel like that's been an area that just simply hasn't been there throughout his, obviously outside of the Stephon Diggs move. Even with Stephon Diggs on the team, they didn't have a ton of receivers outside of that. But man, it just feels that just feels like a lot. Gabe Davis had a year, but I'm not too. Yeah, I'm not one to look at counting stats. Gabe Davis is, in my opinion, I never looked at him as a true wide receiver 2 in this league. But Yeah, I don't know. This feels like a lot. I think instant grade reacts. I think it's amazing for the Bears. I think it's an A, maybe even an A plus. I mean, you look at the season that DJ Moore had with his body language when he was out on the field, giving up on routes. I mean, specifically that last one, even though, I think it was on both of them, Caleb and DJ. I mean, on the interception that ultimately ended the Bears season. DJ Moore didn't fully run that route, kind of jogged it. So this is a guy that has just been really up and down in Chicago, and maybe a new scenery really resets that for him, but still a second round pick just feels like a lot, man. It feels like a lot, especially on that contract. So I think it's an A plus on the Bears side. And on the Bills, I'm gonna go like a C, maybe a C plus, because you're getting at least it's a better talent in that receiving room. But I mean, is DJ Moore
Not a needle
even
mover.
is he the best receiver on the Bills? Even, is it crazy to say that? Is he
Khalil Shakir is
definitively
pretty good.
better than Khalil Shakir?
Is he better than Mr. Cookies? No, I'm joking.
But
yeah, Khalil Shakir. I think Khalil Shakir is like also a really good fit for how they use
for
him.
that
Like,
Bills
the
offense.
way they use him is like perfect for his skill set and all that.
Yeah,
I don't know DJ Moore what he's really gonna bring to that offense. He's not a needle mover in my opinion.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even think I can say he's definitively the best receiver in that room now. And you traded a second round pick, and he's starting a 4-year deal. I mean, I don't know. I don't agree with it.
I mean, Josh Allen, he's gonna be able to get him the ball. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he felt unmotivated in Chicago. A lot of mouths to feed, which is why that's a really good trade for them to get a second round pick. Obviously, probably A plus. Honestly, there's just so many mouths to feed over there, especially with Luther Burden coming in his own and being a really good draft pick. I mean, Swift, Odunze, Burden, Colston Loveland. Still got Cole Kmet. Olamide Zaccheaus is a solid wide receiver 3. I mean, there's a lot of mouths to feed in that offense, so it's a really good trade for them. But I mean, we know Josh Allen's gonna be a guy. He's gonna get his guys the ball, and maybe that motivates DJ Moore a little bit. Maybe he comes out and has a really good season, but he's gonna have to prove that, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I'm rooting it on. I'm hoping for it, but man, I've just seen the Bills go out here and try to make these big moves to improve their roster, and they just always fail with these. I mean, the Amari Cooper one, Joey Bosa. I mean, obviously drafting Keon Coleman in the first round, like just a lot of misses. That if they were to hit on those, it really changes the trajectory of the Bills. I mean, we could be talking about the Bills being Super Bowl champions this year if they just made slight different moves. I don't know. Like I said, I think it's an AA plus from the Bears side, and I'm gonna go C, honestly, for the Bills. You said an AA plus also for the Bears. Are you similar with the Bills too? Are you in a C?
Yeah, I'll go C. I could go lower just off how it is right now, but I'll go C just because the potential is there, I guess. But
I cannot believe that after this trade, the Bills have the second most expensive wide receiver room in the league, only trailing obviously the Bengals. That's crazy. I mean, considering how poor we talk about the receiving room. DJ Moore is $24.5 million. Josh Palmer is $11.7 million. Curtis Samuel, $9.5 million. Khalil Shakir, $6.7 million. And then Keon Coleman ending his rookie contract on just $2.7. Now, there is talks about Curtis Samuel being cut
on the roster. He's not even on the ESPN depth chart.
I'm not. He might have gotten cut by now. I know that they talked about cutting him, which obviously would free them up. But even if they were to cut him, they'd still be number 4.
Yeah,
they'd be number 4 if they cut him. or if he is cut by now.
Receiver room.
Yeah, it's not pretty at all. I don't like it. I don't like it. We end off the lowest trade with the lowest grade. Unfortunately, the other two trades were pretty much consensus like AA win-win trades, and we get into a potential win-lose trade unless DJ Moore goes out there and has 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns and the Bills win the Super Bowl. But I don't know how likely that is. That's pretty much the biggest trade news and really free agency type of things that we wanted to get into. Next week, we're going to have all of our talks about free agency news, as that will be starting.
You don't want to talk about the Kyler Murray situation?
I mean, we could get into
Where do
it.
you think he's going to go?
I did have that bookmarked, so I mean, yeah, we can go ahead and get into
just
that.
real
Do you
quick
have any?
before getting into the top 10? I wanted to ask you
thoughts. I think the perfect fit, and I think where he will end up going is the Vikings. I think it just makes too much sense. Do you want to hear some? There's been reports that he's linked to the Raiders.
I have seen those. I think that'd be a phenomenal signing.
Because, well, obviously, the Raiders are taking Fernando Mendoza, but there has been talks that Tom Brady and, within the organization, they don't know if they want Mendoza to start immediately. And a lot of people are overreacting. Oh, what does that mean about Mendoza as a prospect? And it's like Tom Brady has numerously been a guy that's always for sitting a quarterback year one. I'm pretty sure he even talked about it with the quarterbacks from the 2024 class when you talk about like a Caleb Williams and things like that. So I'm not buying too much into it. If I had to bet money, I do believe Mendoza is going to be the week 1 starter. I'm not positive if we really are going to bring in a veteran to start over him. I just don't really know how much sense that makes. I also think Kubiak is a smart enough offensive coordinator to set him up for success. Unfortunately, this is turned into Raider talk after starting about Kyler Murray, but that's what you get on this podcast. So I think the Vikings make the most sense, in my opinion. The Jets are very likely, but I think the Vikings make the most sense. And even from DraftKings, he went from plus 120 to minus 20 ever since. It was plus 120 when he first got released, and now it's at minus 290 to sign to the Vikings.
It is just pretty crazy. Obviously, I'm pretty sure we've talked about it a lot. We're not big fans of J.J. McCarthy on this show, but it is kind of crazy how quick they're moving on from him. He is really young. He hasn't showed much.
The tape is scary.
It is, but it's like, dude, I mean, they it's quick.
Yeah.
It is quick.
And it is unfortunate. Imagine if McCarthy was just like an 18 to 14 range quarterback in the league. Like this Vikings team, like they have a really good team. They don't need you to go out there and be a top 5 quarterback.
18 to 14 range, you said?
Yeah, like as far as like I'm saying they just need him to be a middle range quarterback for them to be successful, and 14, he can't even really be that. What's wrong with 14?
I don't know. That just feels crazy high. Because when you say mid range, you're saying like in like top 32 quarterbacks in the league.
I'm saying I'm not. I think you're thinking that I'm ranking him there. I'm saying that the Vikings wish he was a middle tier 18 to 14
No, that's what I'm saying. But I think if he's at 18 to 14, he'd be like a really good quarterback. Is what I'm saying. Like
that's what I'm saying though. I think that they that would be their wish. Like they would obviously you'd want to be top 10, but I'm thinking of quarterbacks in that 18 to 14-ish range. I mean, I'm thinking like the tier right below like a Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. Like if he was like right below that tier, I think they're crying tears of joy, which I guess that is heavy I mean, Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold are
I
good
think that's
quarterbacks
about,
in this league, but
I don't know.
It is crazy. It is crazy.
I think 20 to 23, they'd be happy.
Yeah,
He's
I mean, they'd be happy with
35.
Yeah, anything better than he is. I mean, he's not even really good enough to be a starting quarterback in this league right now. So if they could get a top 32 guy, I think they'd be pretty happy.
I mean, 6-4 as a starter.
Yeah, that's fair. That's all people care about. But if Kyler Murray does sign to the Vikings, which is very likely, I'm gonna be a big fan of that. I think the Vikings are definitely gonna be a sneaky NFC team. I'm not sitting here saying they're gonna go win the Super Bowl or anything crazy like that, but they can make some noise. I could see the Vikings winning a playoff game with Kyler Murray. I think people have really they don't really understand how good Murray is. I think Murray is a top half quarterback, starting quarterback in this league. I think he's a top 16 guy when he's healthy, pretty comfortably. So. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see that really unfolds. I personally would love that if he were to go there. I think it's either Vikings, Jets. I don't really know if there's any other teams that make sense. As I mentioned, that there's news with the Raiders. I mean, the Falcons have talked about bringing in a quarterback. That probably doesn't fit for me. Yeah, I think Vikings is probably the best fit, and you said that would be your top one as well.
Yeah,
for him. Yeah,
I wouldn't mind the Dolphins.
That's a fair one. That's
one that
I'm sure he
wouldn't
forgot. Yeah, being in Miami, having some good weather. I don't think he'd mind that at all. But let's just get right into what everybody is here for, our top 10 edge rushers. We were talking a good amount before this episode started, and I personally think we're going to have a lot of overlap. I think we're going to have a lot of similar rankings. So it's probably going to be, one person listing off statistics and the other person agreeing and saying that's where I have them. Now, I could be mistaken. I don't believe we have the same 10 and 9, but I mentioned I think we have the exact same order, 8 through 5 and 2 and 1. Now, we're gonna have to see. I think it's gonna be interesting to see if we don't. To see how much we differ on those rankings, but
do we want to set the basis right now and say the two players we don't have in our top 10 that would be in our top 10 on a normal year?
We'll start out. Nick Bosa did not make our list. Just a guy that obviously dealt with injury and a player that's just it's weird to fit players that are coming off injuries and having down years like that. So he is one guy that did not make our list, and the other one is Trey Hendrickson, another guy that did not make either of our lists. Now,
all due to injury, though. Make that clear.
Right. I want to put that out there. Now, we haven't done this. We only have 2 positions left, including this one. We have this and then our cornerback episode. That will probably be a few weeks down the line, considering how free agency goes. Next week will be a full free agency video, but unless something crazy happens, cornerbacks will be in 2 weeks. Do we want to start by saying honorable mentions, or is that? I know we haven't done that, but I don't know. Maybe that could be something we throw in over these last 2, or should we just get right into it?
I don't have any honorable mentions written down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of keyed in on my top 10. I'd have to go back and look to see remember who I was at, because there were a lot of guys that could have made this 9 to 10 spot, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Off the top of my head, I can't give you the names. I'm not remembering who they were, but if you have them in mind, you could drop their names.
We'll just jump into it then, because in case I say a name that you have at 9 or 10 or something that you were going to talk about, so we'll just jump into it. You said you wanted me to start this out, or how do you want this to go?
You can start it. No,
Okay.
I'll start it. I'll start
it. All right. Let's hear your number 10.
My number 10, I got Laiatu Latu.
Wow, I did not expect that.
Did you even consider him?
He was not someone that was going to be in my honorable mentions.
I think he's really good.
Yeah,
I liked him coming out the draft, and he's living up to it. Laiatu Latu finished at an 84.1 PFF grade, ranked 10th in the NFL. 61 pressures, 8.5 sacks. I think a big one that I gave him the edge for over some of those other guys is he finished the season with 3 interceptions, which is tied for the most by a defensive lineman ever. I think a couple guys have hit that mark. But they drop him into coverage, like obviously more than all these other pure edge rushers on the list. 10% of his snaps he's dropped into pass coverage, and he's really good at just like sniffing out those RPOs and stuff. I mean, he almost got a pick 6 on Mahomes this season on just sniffing out a RPO, and he baited Tua into an interception over the middle of the field, baited a quarterback into an interception. I mean, you just don't see defensive linemen do that. And I think his pass coverage skill. Obviously, he's not an elite pass coverage player, but I think that's a valuable thing to be able to do. Is drop your defensive lineman in coverage, and the fact that he can have that play recognition to sniff out these RPOs and stuff, and still be like just an insane pass rusher. I mean, he has probably some of the quickest hands for a pass rusher on this list. I mean, he is really toolsy. Because he's not the most powerful guy, but he's full of finesse, and he made my top 10. That's fair. 10.
Yeah, someone that I didn't necessarily consider in my top 10. There were a lot of guys that were around that area, and really, like we mentioned, 10 and 9 is kind of like you could put any player really in here. My number 10, it's someone that obviously I know did not make your list, wouldn't make a lot of players' lists, and maybe it's me trying to cater towards the audience, but I still have TJ Watt as a top 10 pass rusher. The numbers definitely don't favor him, especially after this last year. Steeler fans hearing that still believe this guy is a top 5 pass rusher. He's definitely not that. He's more closer to 20 probably than top 5, but I still have to give respect to him. He still is a productive pass rusher, 7 sacks in 14 games. Obviously not the same player as he once was. I'm not going to spend too much time at you on this.
He's still he's still a really good player. Honestly, he could have made my top 10. I think he's older. He's up there in like the pass deflections statistic for defensive line. He's still a crazy smart player. I just don't think athletically he's really there anymore.
That's the thing about
for me.
That's the thing about a guy like TJ Watt. He is that instinctive and smart with the game. He's going to be productive really his entire career that he's in the league. That's what these type of players do. I mean, even a guy like Khalil Mack, he's going to go out there and be a close to 10 sack guy almost his entire career that he's in the league. These guys are just smart. They know how to wreck
Miller
the game.
Too. He's still kicking.
Yeah. Yep. They know how to wreck the game in certain ways and be productive. So I just still had to show respect to a guy like TJ Watt. And I'll move on to my number 9 spot, where we really start getting into some of the better edge rushers in the league. I have Josh Hines-Allen as my number 9 pass rusher, edge rusher in the league. A guy that graded out number 6th as far as a run defense grade, and number 11th for his pass rush grade, 83.9. A guy that was second in pressures at 95, had a 19.2 pass rush win rate, which I want to emphasize my specific numbers I got from PFF. There were a lot of different sites that I looked through. They were kind of all mixed around, but they were all pretty similar, right? I'm not going to tell you a guy had 90 pressures and he had 48. Like that, it's never going to be that wide. You know what I mean? It might be a percentage or two here or there or whatever, but it's not going to be super far off. A 19.2 pass rush win rate, which ranked 6th. Had eight sacks over the last 2 years after his real breakout year 3 years ago now, where I believe he had 17.5 sacks. So a guy that's just really been consistent throughout his career, a guy that, potentially could have been on my Raiders in that 2019 class, and we decided to draft Cleveland Farrell for whatever reason. But yeah, a guy that's really just been consistent his whole career, one of the more underrated pass rushers, you could say, that's really been balling over there in Jacksonville. So Josh Hines-Allen falls at number 9 for me.
My number 9, same first name, different player though. I got Josh Sweat. Graded out at a 74.2 PFF grade. Finished with 12 sacks though, 47 pressures, 3 forced fumbles, tied 4th. And he also only did it on 540 snaps, which is 57th in the NFL among edges. I mean, Josh Sweat over there in Arizona doesn't have much, help on that defensive line. I think a lot of teams they play against can really key in on him and focal their, offensive line game plan to really stop him, and which they really couldn't. I mean, he was really disruptive this year. I mean, you just watch him play, and he's one of the most bendiest players in the league. He converts that speed to power really well. And, yeah, I got him at my number 9. He's a really good player. My number 8 is going – and this is where Devin thinks we have our 8 to 5 as the same. My number 8 is going to be Danielle Hunter.
Ooh, wow. Okay. I did not expect that.
See that's how I knew we didn't have our 8 to 5. And what I was telling you before the podcast, my list, there's kind of a theme with them, and I kind of am favoring the younger guys a little bit more. Obviously, Danielle Hunter is still amazing. I don't want to say that he's old and washed up and all that. I just favor the younger guys a little bit more. I think they're just going to get better. And Danielle Hunter could do what he's been doing, maybe even be even better next year. But, yeah, Danielle Hunter, we all know how good he is. He's been doing it for so long. 89.1 PFF grade, which ranks him at 5th. Finished the season with 15 sacks, 83 pressures, put him at 5th. 42 stops, tied for 6th. 14.6 in pressure percentage. I mean, Danielle Hunter, one of the most, toolsy pass rushers we've, ever seen. You put on that tape. There's a specific Instagram account that I follow. I don't know if you ever seen them, called Pass Rush Diary.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
They put together a lot of mixes for a lot of different teams, and man, Danielle Hunter, he is just so damn good. And you could he's obviously still explosive and stuff, but he's not as bendy as he once was, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, he just knows where to put his hands, and he's just throwing these offensive linemen out the way. The hand placement is perfect. That spin move, he's probably got one of the best spin moves in the league as a pass rusher, maybe behind Aiden Hutchinson and maybe Max Crosby. I mean, his spin move is fucking ridiculous. He's a phenomenal pass rusher. And I think he's a really big piece on that Houston defense.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely not going to be on par going forward. I have Danielle Hunter higher than number 8, and I'll just get into my number 8 ranking where I have Brian Burns, a guy that was extremely productive this past year. 16.5 sacks, 22 tackles for loss. And you hear that, and that's a top 5 pass rusher right there. But there's a lot more to the game than that. This was a guy that was not top 10 in really any major advanced statistic. Defensive grade, pass rush grade, run defense grade, pressures, pass rush win rate, run stop win rate. He was not top 10 in any of those and wasn't top 20 in a majority of those. So I get it. This is a guy that is super productive as far as a pure number standpoint, but I think there's more to that game, or more to it, to the game than just, obviously numbers. If it was that, there's no reason to have a ranking. We just look at the numbers and rank them that way. And that's the top 10 players in the league. But yeah, a guy that I will say the biggest thing for Brian Burns' game is he is by far number 1 in pressure to sack rate. He's a guy that, Obviously, he's not out here getting 20 pressures over a 2-game sample size or this and that, but he's a guy that's going to get, 4 pressures, 3 pressures in a game, and it's going to result in 2 to 3 sacks. You know what I mean? So that's a good part of his game that I'd like to point out. But again, there's so much more to being a pass rusher than just simply sacks and tackles for loss. And Brian Burns, unfortunately, did not really grade out well in any other categories than those two. So not a knock, really. Still top 8. There's a lot of talented pass rushers on the list, and Burns falls at number 8 for me. Right above him at number 7, I have a guy that looked like he was going to be the Defensive Player of the Year for about the first quarter of the season. Nick Bonito, guy that graded out as an 84.5 pass rush grade, which ranked 9th. He was 8th in pressures at 76, 9th in pass rush win rate at 17.1, and a guy that has had 13.5 sacks or more in back-to-back years. Had 13.5 in 2024 and then 14 this past year. So one of the younger pass rushers on this league, on this list, and a guy that obviously is going to continue to get better, especially on a super talented Denver defense that he is on. A really creative pass rusher and a guy that really makes his mark a bunch of different ways throughout the game. A guy that, is never going to be the greatest against the run, but, is always going to be a really solid pass rusher in this league. So Bonito falls at number 7 for me.
What am I on, number 7? Yeah.
Number 7, yeah.
My number 7 is Brian Burns. 75.8 PFF grade, like Devin said, 16.5 sacks, all this, 53 pressures, 42 stops, which is 4th in the NFL. 7 pass deflections, too. That's tied first among all defensive linemen. I agree he wasn't the most productive or, statistically, efficient pass rusher in the league, advanced stats-wise and all that. But I think there's a lot of value in being able to convert those pressures into sacks, which he did at, the second best rate in the league. On a pretty bad defense too. Probably had the worst linebackers in the league, which could also, affect him and how well he can play in the run defense. Dexter Lawrence had kind of a down year. Had a good running mate across from him in Abdul Carter, but yeah, I think Brian Burns is still a really good player. And I mean, you just watch him play. He's also just an insane, toolsy type of pass rusher. He could pull out every move in the book and beat you with it. My number 6. I think it's the same number 6. Did you had Nick Bonito too?
I had Bonito at 7. So
okay.
we had the same.
Okay, you did 8,
6 through 8, okay. But different order.
All right, my number 6, Nick Bonito. I mean, amazing player, 77.1 PFF grade, finished with 14 sacks, 76 pressures, finished second in the NFL in quick pressures, which is pressures that he emulated in under 3 seconds. I mean, he has one of the best get-off times in the NFL. Third fastest, actually, at 0.77 seconds. Could you tell me who number 1 and 2 are? By any chance?
Fastest get off. I'm going to assume Burns is up there? No. Fastest get off. Crosby.
Number 1 makes sense. No.
Really? Fastest get off. Garrett.
Yeah, Myles Garrett, number 1, obviously. Number 2, though. Somebody who I consider. I consider him for my top 10.
So not a top 10 on either of our lists.
Yeah, he had a really good year this year. I looked at him. I didn't put him. I would say I never really considered him for top 10, but I definitely looked at him. He had a really good year.
Not Byron Young?
No.
Not Verse. I'm not sure.
Chase Young.
To me. Okay. Yeah, Young definitely had a good year this year for sure.
0.75 get-off speed. Second in the NFL. Tracked by Next Gen Stats, but yeah, Nick Bonito, really, really good player. I love Nick Bonito. Yeah. Kind of talked about him a lot. I don't know if I talked about him a lot on the podcast, but I know for sure I talked to him a lot.
When the season first started, we did because I remember that was when we did our quarter. When we did our first month, I think awards. I think we both had him for our defensive player of the year.
Yeah, he started off the year really on fire. He was on pace for a really crazy sack season. Kind of slowed down.
I was checking his numbers. He had, after I think the first 5 games of the year, he had 2 separate 3-game stretches where he did not record a sack, which definitely hurt his chances. But I'll go ahead and move on to my number 6, where, as I mentioned, we have the same players 6 through 8, but not the same order. I have Danielle Hunter 2 spots ahead of you. I'll jump into it a little bit. Jaden obviously touched on him earlier. When I say these numbers, you're gonna think
I did not touch on you. I want to make that clear.
You're gonna think, why is this guy not number 5? He was 5th in defensive grade at 89.1, 5th in pass rush grade at 90.1, 5th in pressures at 83, and 5th in pass rush win rate at 20.6. So this guy should be top 5, but he falls at number 6 for me. 15 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. As Jaden said, a guy that's been doing it forever. And honestly, a quiet Hall of Fame career building for Danielle Hunter. Do you know how many sacks he has in his career?
Bro, he's at like 120, right?
114 and a half. He has 7 seasons with 10 or more sacks, and most of those are like well into 10. It's like 12 and a half, 14 and a half, 14 and a half, 16 and a half, 15. Like a guy that's most likely going to end his career with, 130, 140 sack numbers. I mean, a guy that, as I said, quietly building a Hall of Fame career. So Danielle Hunter falls at number 6 for me. Number 5, I have the man over there in Detroit, Aiden Hutchinson. He comes in as my number 5 pass rusher, a 91.9 defensive grade, ranked out 4th, 92.2 pass rush grade, ranked out 3rd. He had 100 pressures, which was 1st in the NFL, a 23.1 pass rush win rate, which ranked 3rd, had 14 and a half sacks this year. One thing that I want to talk about for Aiden Hutchinson, it was really, really unfortunate that he got injured last year, because I think his ranking is a lot different if he didn't have to deal with that. I mean, this was a guy that was going to run away with Defensive Player of the Year last year, if not for that injury. I believe he had 7.5 sacks in 4.5 games. So this guy truly was balling out last season, and coming off an injury to have a season like this, Aiden Hutchinson is a monster, and I really don't think he's gonna drop anytime soon. I think this is a guy that's going to continue rising up this ranking, and I'm not positive if he's gonna take the top 2 players on my list rankings, but he's a guy that could easily jump into the top 3 depending on how next year goes. So Aiden Hutchinson is my number 5.
I also have Aiden Hutchinson at my number 5. Devin really covered everything.
I wanted to start out by saying I think we have the same number 5, but I was scared you were gonna disappoint me, so I'll let you go back though.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to go over. You went over everything. 100 pressures, led the NFL. 64 hurries. He's making that quarterback run for his life. 4 forced fumbles, 2nd in the league. 42 stops, tied for 6th. I mean, he's, like I said, one of the best spin moves in the NFL. I mean, it's literally unstoppable. I mean, how can you stop it? I mean, the guy's like 6'7" with a 7-foot wingspan, it seems like.
Yeah.
Like, those arms are crazy. He's just an absolute relentless player, never gives up on the play.
Mm-hmm.
My number 4. Curious. I think we have the same top 4.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely do, but I don't think it's the same order. We'll see.
No, I think it's the same order. My number 4. I don't know. I'm getting scared. Because I feel like you might have this number 4.
Let's hear it.
My number 4 is Micah Jamison Parsons. I don't know. I just made up a middle name. Micah Parsons is my 4. So that means you had him at 2?
We don't have the same. We have the same top 4 players, obviously, not the same order.
Micah Parsons.
I don't want to spoil
at 4.
nothing, but yeah.
I mean, if it was there's that means it's not one spot difference. It has to be two spots.
I just felt like I don't know. I just felt like these 4 players.
I think
fell into
honestly,
place.
I'm factoring in his ACL injury a little bit here. I think he could have been 2, but I think that's a serious thing you have to look at. You know,
that's a fair point.
He's a really good player. Obviously, we all know Micah Parsons. You know, one of the best. The edges in the league, can do it all in the run, in the pass. Yeah. Played, 14 games this year?
Yeah, 14.
14 games, had 12.5 sacks, 79 pressures, which was 7th. 51 QB hurries. I had his snaps written down, 707 snaps, 24th in the league among edges. 92 PFF grade, which ranked him at 3rd. I mean, he's one of the best edges in the league. He's been for a while. For me, he fell to 4, factoring in a little bit of his injury, which isn't a small injury. It's a major injury. Nowadays, players come back from these types of injuries all the time. It wasn't so long ago where this was a lot more serious, potentially career-ending type of injury. But, with our technology today, he could come back and be better than ever. But I think these guys above him don't have a serious injury like that and have been just as productive. And younger.
Yeah. I really thought we were gonna have the exact same order top 4, but yeah, you have Mike at 4. I'm gonna assume you're number 2. I have Will Anderson Jr. As my number 4. A guy that obviously this is his first real year of breaking out into this superstardom. I think last year, his second year in the league, he really broke onto the scene and, showed his flashes and was, climbing his way up. But
I think his first year he did that.
Yeah, I think he was productive, but I don't think it really.
But I'm saying he showed those flashes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second year he 100%. Improved. Third year he improved even more.
100%.
Fourth year he might be, somebody I'm looking at for possible defensive player of the year.
Yeah, very fair.
But possible, favorite, not just possible. I know Myles Garrett coming off the season he had, but that's just my opinion. I think he could be my favorite.
I can agree with that.
But yeah,
a guy that was second in defensive grade, 92.3, 4th in pass rush grade at a 91.6. He was even top 6 in run defense grade at 79.8. 26.2 pass rush win rate, which was first, 93 pressures, which was third, had 12 sacks, 20 for loss, 3 forced fumbles, and obviously his magnificent performance against New England in the playoffs, where he had 3 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 forced fumbles. And I think that really woke everybody up in the league to just how great of a player this guy is for people who weren't really paying attention to them, which you should have been, because the Texans on their run this year were one of the most exciting teams to watch. So Will Anderson Jr. really falls. I will say he falls at number 4 for me, specifically because I think I'm a guy that I don't like to, and obviously this is what he did this year, so this is not fully projection, but I'm a guy who doesn't like to project too much. I'm a guy that's what have you done for me in the past, and what are you doing for me currently? And I do obviously factor in what a player could be, but I'm always big on what you're doing. You know what I mean? I'm not one to sit here and be like, oh, this guy, he could be a 1,500-yard receiver if he got the same targets as this other guy. And it's like, I don't want to hear that.
But what he's doing is the best in the NFL.
I get it. But again, this is his first year at elite pass rushing, being a pass rusher.
But it's not like his previous years. He was like, who would have thought this dude? Like, you knew it was going to happen, and it's happened. He was slated to do this coming out of college. He was looked at as this type of player.
I think last year you could argue he wasn't even a top 10 pass rusher, and now he's jumped his way up into top
That's
4
fair.
with the
That's
year
fair,
that he
100%.
had. So I think it's just one of those things where he's got to, if he does this next year, he could have this exact same similar year, and obviously Micah Parsons potentially is going to miss next year. He's easily could jump up to number 2 from her easily. But I think when I look at the other guys on my list, they've done it for longer, and they're still doing it at an elite top tier level. I think that's how I look at it. It's just me personally, how I look at my rankings, and it's not a knock on Will Anderson. I mean, he's the 4th best edge rusher in the league, and these top 4 guys are, I mean, I guess outside of Myles Garrett being by far and away, I think, number 2 through 4, I think they really are pretty close. I think it's really like, as I mentioned, Garrett in a tier of his own, and then these 3 all right next to each other. So Anderson unfortunately falls the lowest for me at number 4, but next year, like you even mentioned, it's a guy that could win Defensive Player of the Year, and he's number 2 for me. I mean, unless Garrett gets injured, I don't know how much he can fall from that number 1 spot. That's pretty locked up. But yeah, Will Anderson falls at number 4 for me. And we enter the top 3, where I have the man that recently got traded, and I'm obviously noticing we're going to have the same number 3, but in different ways. I have Max Crosby, a guy that since entering the league has the most pressures, most tackles for loss. I mean, it's coming off a year where it's a down year for him, and he had 10 sacks and 28 tackles for loss. That's the 4th most all time in a season. And he did that in 15 games, by the way. He was forced to miss the last 2 games of the year, where he potentially would have not broke the record because he would have needed 11. But Myles Garrett, as we'll get to, had the most this season at 33, which was 2nd all time. Max Crosby could have easily gotten, those type of numbers in that time. But yeah, Crosby is a guy that I really don't think you understand his value unless you watch a lot of Raider games. This is a guy that has 31 career games with 100% snaps played. 31 career games. That is unreal. It's unreal stuff. He's by far and away the best run defender in the league, not only edge, but including interior defensive linemen and defensive linemen in general. He's by far and away the best one. He had a 39% run stop win rate this past year. No other pass rusher on my list was in the top 10, and I don't think even no other pass rusher in Jaden's top 10 was in that top 10 of run stop win rate. So a guy that really just disrupts the game in every aspect you talk about as a pass rusher and as a run defender, and that's the biggest thing you can say for him. This is a guy that is not just a pure pass rusher and is going to go out there and get you, 23 sacks like Myles Garrett, but he's a guy that's going to disrupt the game on all aspects. So, man, the Ravens got an absolute dog coming their way, and it sucks that I don't get to watch him in the silver and black anymore. I really think Crosby's going to get his flowers once he's more in that national media, but yeah, Crosby is my number 3 pass rusher in the league.
My number 3, I know Devin said we'd have the same list. My number 3, I have Myles Garrett. No, I'm joking. My number 3, my number 3 is Max Crosby.
No, I obviously when you said Myles Garrett, I thought you were joking. I thought for a second you really had Anderson at 3, and I was about to get up and give you a round of applause without my hands. But yeah, you can go. We both share Crosby at 3. Paul, yeah, we don't share Crosby, but this podcast has gone off the rails. We both got Crosby at 3. I'll let you go.
Yeah, Devin covered all of his statistics: 10 sacks, 28 tackles for loss, 58 stops, first among edges, 6 pass deflections, tied second among defensive linemen. Yeah, he's just a really disruptive player in both the pass and in the pass rush and the defense and I'm tripping over my words. Max Crosby, number 3. Devin went over him a lot. We talked about him a lot this episode. He's my number 3.
Yeah.
My number 2, Will Anderson. Will Anderson, where do I even begin? 92.3 PFF grade, second in the league, 12 sacks. Led the NFL in Pro Football References special statistic in approximate value. He had an AV of 20. I still don't really know how to gauge that statistic, really, how to look at obviously, it has to do with how good they are and their numbers.
Yeah,
but like his raw numbers aren't.
I've
looked at it. I've looked at it so much. I still don't understand it. I mean, they explain it as approximate value is our attempt to attach a single number to every player this season since 1960.
Yeah,
it's.
I don't.
I've seen people on other podcasts talk about this because they don't go into how they get these numbers. We don't know what they're getting this number from. Yeah. Offensive linemen get an AV. What the fuck are they getting numbers from? They don't got stats to pull from. They don't got pancake numbers. Like, it doesn't make sense. Are they going off the eye test? Are they going off the raw numbers? If they're going off the raw numbers, I mean, Will Anderson doesn't have the most insane raw numbers. Why would Myles Garrett be number one?
Yeah.
It is. I don't really understand it. I trust it because they don't just give a high AV to a bad player.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Will Anderson led the league in AV. I don't know if anybody tied him with that. Honestly, I didn't check. I just know it's in bold in his stats, so that means he led in that category. 93 pressures, third in the NFL. 19.5 pressure percentage, first in the NFL. Led the league in hurries at 70. Had the fastest time to pressure in the league at 2.72 seconds. Was third in quick pressures, like I said earlier. Pressures that are emulated in under 3 seconds. I think he's just a baller. I think he has one of the best speed to power just rushes in the NFL. I mean, he's so powerful. He can do it all. He's quick. He can bend the edge. He's a phenomenal player, and he's, I think, the youngest guy on this list.
Yeah.
I think he's
only in his third year.
I think he's an amazing player, and like I said, I project a little more than Devin does. I think for his lists, he's my number 2. Hell of a player. I think he's gonna have an even better season next year. I think he'd be my betting favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year next year. And obviously our number 1 is going to be the same, Myles Garrett. I just kind of have the raw stats for him. I don't know if you have any more in-depth stats you can go in with.
First, I do have I didn't mention, but I have Micah as my number 2. I really thought we were gonna have a consensus. Obviously, Jaden does factor in the age and the injury, which is a very good point. It's something that I obviously know of and something that I thought about, but I didn't take it into account as much. I mean, Micah Parsons, outside of Myles Garrett, may be the best and most gifted pass rusher I've ever watched. Maybe outside of Von Miller. But Micah Parsons is an animal. He's a freak. He's a guy that you can consider as undersized, and he just does it all off the edge. Third in defensive grade, second in pass rush grade, fourth in pass rush win rate, seventh in pressures, and he did all this, as Jaden mentioned, also in 14 games. Tagged along 12.5 sacks. So Micah Parsons is ridiculous. He went over there and changed that entire Green Bay defense. And I think what's even more crazy about this is through his first couple games with the Packers, he was on a snap count, and he still put up these type of numbers. So a guy that, you look at the 14-game number, it's more like 12 games, So my goodness, Micah Parsons disrupts the game. Every single play he's out there, it feels like. So he falls at number 2 for me. And we both have number 1 as that man, jump man. Myles Garrett matched the jump man with 23 sacks, an NFL record, 33 tackles for loss, second all time, 6th in pressures this year, second in pass rush win rate, third in run defense grade, first in pass rush grade, second in defensive grade. So He's a guy that disrupts the game, similar to a Crosby in the pass rush and run defense. And yeah, I mean, just a freak, a guy that should not move the way he does. And it's an honor to get to watch a player like this. I remember throughout this whole year, we talked about Myles Garrett so much on this podcast. And we kept on talking about like how high could he get on an edge rusher all-time list. And we were like, could he get, is he top 10? Is he top 5? Is he this and that? After a season like this, I think he's undoubtedly top 10, and he is rapidly approaching top 5 and most likely will be there and potentially even higher. So Myles Garrett, our, number one defensive end, edge rusher, potential player in the league. You can go on about him if you have anything else that you want to add, but that's all mine.
Nothing to add. I want to get your take on something. And what do you think? Obviously, this is kind of hindsight because he just had one of the best seasons ever. Mm-hmm. But do you think the Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt discussion over the course of their careers, do you think it ever changed at any point?
As far as
one being better than the other, did you have it through that time swapping back and forth, or did you kind of just stay on one side?
I think I was. I would say I went back and forth a lot. I do believe there were points where T.J. Watt was better. I do believe there were points where T.J. Watt did have the counting stats over Garrett, but I also thought Garrett was better at that time. I think really over the past 2 to 3-ish years, I don't think it's relatively been close. I think Garrett has comfortably been the better player, but it really has been a thing where it has been back and forth, where, there's a 2-year window where I think TJ Watt is undoubtedly better. And then, Garrett has a good season. And even if it doesn't show up as much in the box score, I still thought he was better. So in my personal opinion, I kind of swapped back and forth. I feel like
I see a lot of the discourse, and I don't know, I don't really pay attention if this is like just mainly Browns fans. Mm-hmm. But I feel like now, like people, like the way they talk, like it was never even a conversation to a lot of people. Like Myles Garrett's always been number one, even when T.J. Watt was still in his prime. And I just want to come out and say I feel like I always did kind of believe that. Like I love T.J. Watt too, but I don't think I ever really had him over Myles at any point. Even when he did have the tying the sack record season, I think I just always had Myles Garrett over him. But there were some years I think it was closer for me. Obviously, years where they close. I think there's times where T.J. Watt closed the gap, but in my opinion, I don't think he ever jumped him at any point for me. That's just my look on it.
I think that might be a little bit hindsight. I think you're thinking. I think T.J. Watt was an incredibly disruptive and a game wrecker during his prime. I think Garrett has always had the advanced stats as far as, double team rate and pass rush win rate. That is like forever went towards Garrett, but I don't know.
I think I just always just watching them play too. Like I don't know. Yeah. I just always felt like Garrett's just one of the best I've ever seen. Just the way he moves. Nobody moves like that. Mm-hmm. Like
it's
I don't know. I just he lines up everywhere on the defense line. He destroys guards. He destroys tackles. He lines up in a wide 9 and he's impossible to stop. Triple teamed. TJ's, TJ, they're honestly kind of different positions. TJ drops into coverage a lot more than Myles does. Myles I don't think really ever does.
Yeah.
But, Yeah, I don't know. I just always felt like Miles was just always had that number one spot. And I just see a lot of people saying that now. I felt like I was in the minority thinking that. But I feel like obviously that's probably hindsight for them.
Yeah.
And, a little bit of recency bias, but I don't know. I feel like I've always been on that side. And obviously they're both first ballot Hall of Fame players.
Right,
I'm not trying to discredit TJ. I'm sure if we had a big audience listening to us, I'd make a lot of people upset saying that, especially Steelers fans. I've never seen a fan base ride for a player harder. But even in these last couple of years where it's just not even fucking close.
Yeah, I do think probably, like I mentioned, I think the last 2 to 3 years, I don't think it's relatively been close. I think Garrett is, without a doubt better, but I do think there were years in there where there's probably 2 to 3 year window where it's like, yeah, I think TJ Watt is definitely better. And I think it could be a hindsight thing, but I mean, again, these guys are both very, very close. It is really crazy that they came in the same class. That is crazy. That's got to be like one of the best edge duos, maybe the best ever in a single class. That is crazy. That's wild.
I don't know. I think Reggie White and Bruce Smith came in the same class. I'm joking. I really don't know.
I was going to say, I think there has been some pretty decent ones recently. I think 2011
Bruce Smith, 85.
had some pretty good ones.
Reggie White, 85. They were the same class.
Wow.
There you have it.
Actually not. What about, I think, and when this here, the 2011 NFL draft had Vaughn, if I'm not mistaken. Was there not also another one in there? Let me look at this. Von Miller was number 2. Yeah, Von Miller and JJ were in the same class. That's that's tough. I'd probably go Von and JJ over Miles and TJ. I mean, JJ Watt, I think, is the best defensive player of all time and that I've ever seen, and Von Miller might be the best pass rusher I've ever seen with Myles Garrett right aside him. Like, though, I think it's
Wait, Reggie Smith wasn't drafted in 85, just his first year was in 85? This is confusing as fuck. His first year was 85. When you look at it, Philadelphia Eagles in the first round, 4th overall of the 1984 supplemental draft. But when you go to that draft, he wasn't picked at 4. Kenny Jackson was picked at 4. What the hell does that even mean? What is a supplemental draft?
That's before my time, brother. I'm out the gate with that. Also, in that 2011 draft, yeah, I remember this. Bro, that 2011 draft had 7 pass rushers with over 90 sacks. Von Miller, 138, Cameron Jordan, 132, J.J. Watt, 114, Justin Houston, 112, Robert Quinn, 102, Ryan Kerrigan, 95.5.
Dude, the 2011 draft was like the best draft of all 92. Time. Julio was in that draft too. Pat P.
Cam Newton, DeMarco Murray. I mean, a lot of good players.
Blaine Gabbert. There were some absolute studs in this.
Charles Clay.
Shout out Adrian Claiborne. 6-sack game against Dak Prescott. Yeah. 2017. Come on.
Shout out Claiborne, my brother. Maurice Jones-Drew was in this class. Nope. That is the rushing leader. I'm looking at.
Shout out Richard Sherman.
2011 NFL season. Yeah, that class. This class actually is. This might comfortably be the best class ever. 2021 is going to have some say when it's all said and done, but yeah, this is a good ass class.
And most importantly, shout out Alan Bradford.
That is everything we got for this episode. Make sure, as I mentioned at the beginning, if you are a new or even a recurring listener, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to rate us 5 stars. Be on the lookout for next episode with our free agency news and tracker and everything like that. And then I believe in 2 weeks is our cornerback rankings. So thank you guys for watching as always, and we're out. Peace.